President Joe Biden's politicized Department of Justice is willing to go to try to destroy his main political opponent as a presidential election is going on. This foundational purpose of what the Biden administration is doing is really the thing that should be most concerning to everyone. As we can see, all of these indictments, count after count after count, being thrown at former President Donald Trump, is clearly an effort to divert his focus away from the campaign and towards fighting on multiple fronts in these lawsuits, and to completely drain him and his campaign of resources so that they can't focus on actually campaigning and trying to win this election. The founders envisioned that our country would be a country of laws, not of men. And what we're seeing here, most concerning as it relates to the First Amendment, but you take all of these different attacks and indictments in whole, what we're seeing is a politicized Department of Justice that has disqualified itself from being able to fulfill the awesome responsibility that they're entrusted with, because they are using it, first of all, to go after their political opponents, namely Donald Trump and his supporters, and also using the Department of Justice to protect the Democrat elite, namely President Joe Biden and by extension, Hunter Biden. So we're seeing how this politicized Department of Justice is being used to achieve both of those purposes, both of which harm the American.
All right, guys. So that was former Democrat Tulsi Gabbard giving her opinion on the Trump indictments and how she thinks that it is a political witch hunt, and how, hey, this is the Biden administration weaponizing the government against his political opponents, which is obviously what is going on here. Now, again,
what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Burn Live, y'all. Murder Wankley, keeping y'all connected. Hashtag these red eyes, changing the viewers. I read, keeping underage, smoking off social media. Sorry, it's been a while since I did a couple of shows. Like I said, scheduling had to change. There have been some things that really had popped up, so I had to switch my time. A lot of people out there, I know we used to always hang out. We always used to be live at the 9 o'clock hour. It's going to be switched to daytime. So we're going to be daytime now. So I'm going to be doing most of my shows during the daytime. And boy, like he said, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, I got a lot to talk about. I'm actually looking for people to share this out to, because I told some people when I go live, I'm sharing out. I just can't find their names. So basically, y'all, we got indicted. Joe Biden needs to be. We got 3 times indicted Trump. Man, we got reparations going off in Chicago. We got looting going off in Chicago, and we got a big debate going on. Man, there's been so many stories that I have definitely not had time to cover on this show. I'm so sorry, everybody. You know we are supposed to be marijuanically keeping each other connected. That's my job. That's what I love doing, is keeping y'all connected. Hashtagging these red eyes, changing the viewers. I read. Okay. Let me put that sign up right there. It's been a while. You know what I'm saying, y'all? I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be trying to bring you these stories. These stories I definitely will be bringing to you more and more and more. I just had to find a good time to do it, and I cannot find his maybe I should have put it on my regular Facebook page just this one time. Just maybe. But y'all, let me go ahead and just get back into these stories, y'all, just so people can see.
There are a lot of people with a lot of opinions on this indictment, okay, and what it means for the president. But I think the person and their opinion who matters the most is actually Trump's own legal team, okay? Helena Habba is Trump's lawyer, right? And she actually battled with reporters outside of the D.C. Federal courthouse and took questions about this indictment. And I want to react to her response because, again, her response, okay, her opinion is probably the most important opinion in regards to this situation that we have here, okay? Because she's the one that's going to be defending him. So, or part of his defense team. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and react to this because I think that this is important.
On March 17th, Hunter accidentally admits that it was his laptop from hell. The next day, DA Alvin Bragg indicts President Trump. June 8th, an FBI document is released showing that the Ukrainians paid the Biden crime family millions and millions of dollars. The next day, the Mar-a-Lago raid and the Mar-a-Lago indictment. Last week, Hunter Biden's sweetheart plea deal fell through when the judge realized it had blanket immunity. The following day, a superseding indictment against Donald Trump. July 31st, Devin Archer goes to testify in front of the House. That was only after they failed to put him in jail prior to the fact. What happens the next day? The January 6th indictment that we're here for today. This is not a coincidence.
No, it's not. Right. Again, anybody paying attention can see that those series of unfortunate events for Trump and very fortunate events for Biden, it's not a coincidence. I mean, clearly what you have here is a political witch hunt, right? A witch hunt that involves the DOJ basically doing whatever they can to manipulate the news cycle in the sense that when there's bad news that comes out about Biden, the next day you have bad news that comes out about Trump, and then the news cycle never focuses on Biden. They always focus on Trump. And again, this is why the Republicans, in the impeachment, is so damn important, okay? To line it up at the same time the Trump trials are going on. That way you can muddy the waters in regards to the attention being paid to that, right? Versus the impeachment. Okay. I think the impeachment actually will be televised. Okay. If it goes to Senate trial. However, I think Trump's trials, I think there's some questions about whether or not they'll actually be televised. So, I think that it's important for the GOP to respond to what clearly is obviously some sort of plot from the deep state to continue to keep the media cycle on Trump and off Biden. I think that the GOP has to respond by basically trying to divert as much attention as possible to Biden's impeachment, okay, which I think will happen considering all the evidence, the mountain of evidence that we have against the guy. Impeachment has to happen. Impeachment don't happen, throw away the whole Republican Party. I'm so serious.
This is election interference at its finest.
Yeah.
Against the leading candidate right now for president.
Yeah, I mean, she's right. I mean, the polls are basically tied, okay, between Trump and Biden. Okay, mainstream, they're freaking out. They're freaking out about the polls because it seems that the indictments aren't actually.
I do want to talk about that specifically. It's weird that we can look at polls and, bruh, I was talking to this guy. Was it today? It was today. And he was like, man, Trump, man. The reason we in this mess is because Trump and Putin. Trump and Putin? You trying to tell me, seeing that our president's weak, then he call him a puppet. Our president's weak, but you still want to blame it on Trump. Trump bullshitted who? Who did he put down? Who did he not help out? I wanted to ask him that, but I felt the tension rising. So I walked off. Y'all, if anybody get to know me, especially in the workforce, I love talking about things that they say that you're not allowed to talk about at work. That's one of my biggest things. Like y'all know me, we used to talk about a lot of things at work. So I do discuss these type of topics at work. I like to see where people's minds or heads at. I like to test the waters and say, damn, with all the things going on, Trump show looking good. Oh, man. And you see the black people faces. Who over here going to vote for Trump? My black ass. Now, I know people like, man, you tripping and he getting indicted. I was telling the guy today, I was like, he's getting indicted for over 4. I mean, if he get indicted, if he get charged, he can go to jail for what? I think they said 500 years. 500 years. Now, you would think a man that's facing 500 years, that's facing jail time, wouldn't get no votes. Nobody would respect nobody that's doing that. That's what you respect. That's what I would think. That's what I would think. I would think that. That's coming in my mind. I'm like, okay, he indicted. You know, they want to put him down. You know, I'm not fucking with you. But like he said, I'm gonna bring back up the article. The more and more they impeach this guy, the more and more
Actually hurting Trump all that much in the primary and also in the general. It could end up backfiring. It could end up backfiring on the establishment, the Democrats, and the media.
For either party. President Trump is under siege in a way that we have never seen before. President Trump.
Hold on, wait a minute. I thought Trump wasn't good with females. That's his lawyer. A manly, cute-looking lawyer lady. Cute, nice, of age, elegant, smart, small, soft shoulders. Don't look like no broad linebacker. You know, that's you know.
And his legal team and everyone on his team will continue to fight, not for him, but for the American people. I'll take some questions.
That's what I'll be liking when Trump and his lawyers and people talk. I'm not fighting for you for myself. Nah. If I was fighting for myself, I wouldn't be in this mess. That's the easy way. Fighting for you and you and you. That's when I come up here and I go to work and I debate and I talk and I bring up these subjects. I'm not doing it for my health. Doing it because we need to learn. We need to know these things. I be hitting my coworkers with stuff they just like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Watch my show. Watch my show, because it goes down.
The president has called this a witch hunt. You just laid out several examples of that. Any other thoughts that the president has communicated to you in terms of why this is going on and why he calls it a witch hunt?
I think a witch hunt is really the way that anybody should describe this, because it's not something we've seen in our time. This is not even political. This is beyond that. A witch hunt is when you relentlessly attack your opponent, when you relentlessly attack the thing that you are most afraid of. People are afraid of somebody that cannot be bought by Washington. People are afraid of somebody who is independently wealthy and who has given up his good life to fight for this country. And that frightens a lot of politicians who are career politicians, unfortunately, because he'll get.
A lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people don't think about that. I was rich, chilling in my crib, could have made all the millions of dollars, could have took all the free tax write-offs. I could have did all of that. All the free tax write-off. I decided to run for president because the little people was getting done wrong. The money, the good money, the rich money that I was making wasn't getting used right, because you were steady taking more businesses across seas. You know, the deal between China and America, a lot of people don't understand what it is and what goes on with that trade and how that trade was. Like, we know China, Russia, America, the top 3 richest countries, flat out countries. Now, when you say persons, it changes. Then you go into Iraq and Iran, you're looking at one of them princesses, kings over there. I'm like, oh, okay, that's one of them rich niggas over there. But when you say country and rich as a whole, okay? All right. So You're looking at this stuff, and this man stopped what he was doing because remember, he still could have been doing his thing. He didn't need you. He didn't need me. We needed Trump. Now let me quit playing. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. When somebody rich and stops to fight for this country, we didn't think about no stuff like that because, we too busy trying to pay the bills. We too busy trying to get to work on time. We too busy worrying about our baby mama. We too busy worrying about our baby daddy. We too really worried about our neighbor. But I'll be always trying to look at the bigger pictures and things that are going on in the world that actually affect us. I got a friend at work. I promise you, I love this man to death because I feel like he's not into politics, but by being around me and he been interested, he's going to learn. And not only does he learn, he actually look up things on me. I love it when he looks up things and try to say, oh man, let me make sure you're right. You know what I'm saying? Don't just sit up there with me and have a debate with me and talk to me if you got to go fact check me. I love it when I'm wrong. Somebody like, hey man, you was wrong about that. We'll do it. That's what I want. Because it's going to be rare that happens because I really try to stay on point with things that I know. I joke with things that are serious. I may stretch it out, but I also will show you the serious side and I will show you the comedian side. It's like I do both. Like right now, I just showed you a little comedian side. Now I'm being serious. Like there's Trump allegation with his lawyers and him still able to win presidency. It's going to shock the world. And when it does, don't say, I don't want to hear. Nah. Capiche? You was right. Yes. I know. And then when Joe Biden get indicted, because he's out of office, don't want to hear I told you so. Just wait for the movie Die Hard come out. And Bruce Willis ain't gonna be in it. People already done told me Bruce Willis not gonna play it. I understand, but Die Hard gonna come out. There's gonna be a new act up in there. It's gonna be the best. Kevin Hart gonna be up in it. It's gonna be starring Joe Biden's impeachment after he get out of office. I'm telling you, it's gonna be the best movie ever. And y'all gonna be like, damn, that dude, that one podcaster that nobody knows, nobody gives zero fucks because he be talking mad shit about niggas. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So let me get back into this so we can get on.
Get back there, and I know he'll be fighting for every one of us so that this doesn't happen to us.
Facts. He can't be bought and sold and traded like Pokemon cards like the rest of these prostitutes. I mean, politicians, right? Trump has made money on his own. Okay, so he doesn't necessarily need the money of the establishment. The guy could have had a much easier life just not running for president at all, but he essentially destroyed his brand by running for president. Okay, and hey, I mean, it does speak to, how genuine Trump is about wanting to be president and what he wants to do for the country, in the sense that, again, his life could have been so much more easier, especially as an old man, by just not doing it, right? And again, that's what scares the establishment the most, is that you have a guy who can't be controlled, and because of the establishment attacks against him, they know what's coming if this man is elected president again, right? That's why they're trying to lock him up, because they know what's coming, right? They know what's coming. Vengeance, right? And vengeance is not going to play out well for the establishment, okay? So they really want to lock Trump up. They really want to make sure he doesn't get elected, because it's over, right? It's over, okay? If Trump gets elected as president again, it's over for them. A lot of these people are going to go to jail, right? And I don't think he's going to hold back, right? I think he's actually going to lock them up this time, which he should have done with Hillary, right? That's probably his biggest mistake. His biggest mistake was not fulfilling his promise of locking up Hillary Clinton. I'm pretty sure he regrets that. But you know what? From his experience in Washington and what's going on now, if this man is elected again, yeah, people like Hillary, people like Biden, they better be scared, right? Because they're going to jail. They're going to jail.
You see, this case is about free speech.
speech, but the special counsel says Trump could have disagreed with the results and talked about it. No crime there. The difference is what he did to try and switch the votes.
So what is it that he did to try and switch the votes that you refer to? By bringing cases, by using the law in an appropriate manner, unlike what we're sitting here today seeing? This is not appropriate. What President Trump did is he said, go patriotically and peacefully and protest. That is an American right. That is why we are America and we are not a third world country. Although I will say that today, I don't feel very much like we are in America. Yes.
This case should go forward before or after the 2024 presidential election?
I think that every court needs to look at this as a whole, right? It's not about the January 6th case. It's about the fact that in the matter of a couple months, we have seen them try and tie up, and me as an attorney, have never seen this, tie up one individual who's running a campaign, running for office for president, so that he is in court, in depositions, and distracted, so that he won't properly run for 2024. And frankly, it's not going to work.
Is the legal team going to argue that the election was stolen?
I don't think that that's the argument that needs to be made. I think that anybody that believes that is misreading this. The truth is, as an American, there were questions that he had regarding the election integrity. We've seen documents come out. We've seen documentaries come out showing that there were issues with the election. And frankly, by bringing this, I don't think Jack Smith really thought it through. There only has to be proof that, number one, President Trump believed that this election was not completely honest. And number two, Jack Smith has opened himself up to a can of worms that we can now look at and really examine.
Facts. Again, I find it hard to believe that they're going to be able to read Trump's mind, right, and prove that Trump didn't actually believe the claims that he was making. Okay, now, again, if you read the whole indictment, the crux of the argument from the DOJ is that, well, he was told by this official, he was told by that official, he was told by this person, that what he believed was wrong, okay, that the election was not stolen, okay, that the outcome was 100% free and fair, right? This is what, he was being told. However, just because he was being told that by his advisors, that doesn't mean that he believed them, right? You don't have to believe your advisors, right? So I'm not sure if that's proof and evidence that Trump knew or did not actually believe the claims that he was making. I mean, he's still making those claims to this day, right? So again, to me, you have to be a mind reader to prove that the guy didn't actually believe those claims. And if you find him guilty, then basically what you're penalizing is thought, right? It now becomes a thought crime because, again, unless they have direct evidence, like real evidence that, oh, yeah, Trump didn't actually really believe his claims, right? He was doing this knowing that, his claims were false. Unless you have real proof of that and that he didn't actually believe it, then again, you're penalizing thought, right? You're penalizing speech. Again, Democrats swear up and down that's not what's going on here. The liberal media swears up and down that's not what's going on here. But it seems to me, from reading the indictment, their whole thing is that, well, Trump was told by, this person, that person, all these other people, that his claims were false. But that doesn't mean that he had to have believed those people.
Believe that he's innocent and that this is all a setup. Why not bring it to trial as soon as possible before the election so that you can clear his name?
Yeah, I would love to do that, but there's something called discovery. And when somebody wants to say that the 2020 election was perfect and that President Trump has no right to object to it, we've got to go show them all the facts. And there's a lot of facts to show. So everybody has their time. And to say that Donald Trump should then be rushed and not be given the same fair proceeding that anybody else is just, frankly, un-American. It's not fair. It's not the way our system.
Also, on top of that, if you was to rush it, and consider how this is in D.C., consider how the judge is basically a Democrat operative. She's probably a woke black woman, so it seems. Okay, she went hard on the January 6th protesters. If he's found to be guilty, right, which again, this is D.C., okay, then basically the Democrats and the liberal media can say, well, this guy's guilty, right, and he's going to jail, okay, which could, again, affect the outcome of the election, knowing that, okay, well, this guy could be in prison, right, and it'll be hard for him to campaign from prison, right? Again, you would effectively just be keeping the guy from being able to run for office like in a fair way because he'd be in prison, right? Which would be insane to think about, right? So you don't want this to be speedy, okay? You want to draw this out for as long as you can because, again, if they find him to be guilty, then, they can say, well, he's guilty, right? He's actually guilty. And, that would probably increase the chance of him being thrown in jail before the actual election, which would be devastating.
Works.
A lot of the lawyers who helped him try to overturn the election are unnamed co-conspirators in the indictment. Jenna Ellis isn't. Why do you think that is?
I'm not going to speak to co-conspirators or anybody else. I represent President Trump.
Let's go one more.
Lena, there are a number of, there's testimony and there's a number of aides that have said that the president was made aware that he lost the election and yet continued to argue that it was stolen from him. How do you reconcile those two things?
Well, I think that everybody was made aware that he lost the election, but that doesn't mean that that was the only advice he was given.
Facts. Facts. Again, the DOJ is saying, well, he was told by this person, that hey, you lost, right? That your claims aren't true. And that's fine. But also, he had other people in his advisory circle that were telling him the exact opposite. So again, I think that if Trump could just prove that, hey, I had other people in my circle telling me the exact opposite of what these people were telling me, right? Which again,
This stuff is crazy that they be putting them through. And this is the crazy part that'll piss me off. Like, everybody wants to point at people to be puppets. Man, the best puppet, the best marketing, the best person, like people been telling me to do all this is Trump. Well, Trump is throwing the best interference, the best block, so you can't see what's going on. Boy, I will be hot. On God, I'll be mad as a... Okay? For real. But in other news, I need to bring this up.
All of a sudden, story comes out that Ron DeSantis agrees to debate Gavin Newsom on Fox News. Okay. So, okay. I mean, because Newsom called him out, et cetera, and then all of a sudden they decide to come in and say, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it. And now finally he says, yeah, I'm going to do it. So Governor Newsom agrees. Governor DeSantis and Newsom have tentatively agreed to debate on Fox News. A Republican is vying for the Republican presidential nomination, while Newsom, a Democrat, is supporting President Joe Biden. DeSantis agreed to the debate, saying, absolutely, I'm game. Just tell me when and where. Newsom office had sent a formal request to Fox News with proposed debate dates, and both governors seemed ready for the challenge. A debate, if it happens, would be a significant event in modern presidential politics. Defend his progressive policies and Biden's record. Newsom's office proposed 3 potential debate sites: Nevada, Georgia, and North Carolina. I don't know if you've gotten the invite yet, but they're thinking about doing it in Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina. So, Tom, for you, how do you process this? So the way I see it is, one guy is not even a candidate, Newsom, okay? Although he is, we talked about this on the Rogan podcast. He is, I saw an ad the other day for him raising money. I'm like, what is he raising money for? This was like 3 days ago. So he's saying, no, I'm behind Biden, all this other stuff. DeSantis, who's not in the lead, Trump's in the lead, and Vivek is about to pass up DeSantis, and you got a bunch of different things going on. This has never happened before. It's not like this is something that happens every single time. Apparently this has never happened before. How do you process
Now, before they go on and put in their 2 cents about these 2 candidates debating each other, one from California, one from Florida, one's a Republican, one's a Democrat, and they finna sit up here and debate, bro. I had time to really sit back and really think about this and analyze some things and hear some stuff. So, for one, DeSantis shouldn't be for real voting, debating a Democrat. I think like you're gonna hear these people say it's gonna be a waste of time. I don't think you should be doing that to debate a Democrat when, you know what I'm saying, they already know who they gonna run. Now, from here until January, when the first ballot actually hits surface, Joe Biden collapses or something, then yeah. But for real, y'all, this how it really looks and how it's going doesn't really, I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't grasp me that these two guys want to call each other out. Now, these points that they're finna make are going to make you think. It should make you think like, okay, we finna make the Republican Party look weak. This is a chance for the Republican Party to look weak by a Democrat that's not even running for president. And when you see these information and their inputs, you can be like, that makes sense.
Governor from a state that's not running during election session, with Biden being the president, and DeSantis, who is second place behind Trump, saying, let's do a debate, the two of us.
You know, the first thing I looked at was what Gavin Newsom was asking, and I tried to look up real quick the polling in North Carolina, because I know there are battleground areas in North Carolina, but it's a predominantly Republican state, although shifting kind of lavender. And I know why he
lavender.
would want.
Sounds good.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Not purple. I got it.
Purple.
I got it.
And it's, you know,
That was very nice. Lavender.
I'm trying to keep it.
I got a visual.
Well, I was trying to defer to your recent announcement.
Thank you.
The what I was getting
so kind of you.
I just got it. Okay, that's good.
No, I got it.
I got it too.
Sorry about that.
Eyebrows.
So what I was doing, I know why he would want Nevada. I know why he would want Georgia. I didn't know why he would want North Carolina. I was trying to look up the polling. There is a lesson, and you're an expert on this, and you've probably seen this in California too. Never agree to a debate mano a mano with anybody significantly below you in the polls. The only thing can happen is you raise them up. Happily be on stage with them because you can talk around them or ignore them.
That's why nobody wants to debate me
in a group, right? but this is true. This is political strategy, right?
I mean, it's why Trump is arguably not going to go to the debate. The first debate.
He said he's going to wait to see who he takes as.
So I think
I have a whole different theory, but keep going.
I think this is bold by Newsom. And if I'm DeSantis, I wouldn't have taken this. You're enabling him at a time where he's trying to raise even more stature, visibility, and support. I wouldn't have done it.
Okay. So what do you think?
I think it's a sign of DeSantis' desperation. To be honest, I think it's a no-brainer for him. He has to. What have been the big criticisms of him, right? That he won't take on rough interviews, that he's sort of coddled, that he's like not willing to expose himself. And I think his advisors have told him that's over. You're not going in the right direction. You're going in the wrong direction. And
see, when he says that part right there, I feel him on that part. But then I done heard DeSantis in the crowd and step up and talk and been about some stuff. So it amazes me that these actions have been taken the way they've been taken. I feel like if we had to restructure some things, we would have to like really restructure some things. Like it had to be, what's up? I'll put it, take out every Republican. That's how I would do it. I put take out every Republican and do it like that. That's how I put take. Wow, no holds barred. No holds barred.
The only way to shake things up is to take risks, right? Like that's just the only way to change the dynamic. And I think for him, this gives him volume, right? We're all seeking volume at some level, right? To make our case, right? We have to make our case with volume, right? It's not the same, being and everything is an ROT. I call it ROT, return on time, right? Like where are you investing your time in terms of how much volume you're getting to try to get your message to connect? I'm not surprised at all. He puts pressure on himself. He's got to compete. He's got to do well. And if he does poorly, I think it's very, very fatal. And by the way, who knows if he's in the race in November? Right? That's another issue.
What do you think about it, Adam? No, I'm asking you. What do you think about it?
Oh, gotcha. This
Yeah.
I love the return on time thing. Well, it comes down to risk and reward.
Yeah.
Okay. What's more of a risk and what's more of a reward? I don't know why Ron DeSantis isn't going on every big podcast out there. Okay. Respect to you for sitting down and answering tough questions and being a part of this.
Sure.
You know, we all know that political candidates, you know, you can do great on a 5-minute Fox News, CNN segment. Great. You're polished. You have all your, you know, your words, your scripts. But when a curveball throws your way, you're like, oh shit. So DeSantis has whatever reason not come on certain big podcasts. Risk reward. I don't know. Let's say you lose a debate to Governor Newsom. You saw what Newsom did to Sean Hannity.
Yeah.
Hannity invited him on like, you're on Fox News. You're in my world. I'm about to like whip you around, dude. Hannity ended up bloodied. Like it wasn't good. I mean, you did better in your fight than Hannity did it. No doubt.
But I'm curious. I'm curious to know, like, what do you think about this?
I saw that. Newsom's a great speaker. He's a great debater. I think for DeSantis, it makes sense that he might want to do that because he could get his face in front of everyone who wants to watch Newsom. What I've noticed with Newsom is that it seems like people who dislike him and like him both want to watch from a different perspective. The people who like him.
What a point.
The people who
What
like
a
him,
great point.
want to see more of him. The people who dislike him want to
see more of them.
Yeah,
yeah, that's a very good point. So let me give my thoughts on this, on what I think. So for me, I think it's an insult, if you ask me. I think it's an insult on how it's being done, because if I'm a guy that's anti-establishment, the way I process this is, here's two guys that are saying, yeah, look, we don't think Biden, you're going to be there. And DeSantis, Trump, we don't think you're going to be there. You're being indicted 3 times. We don't think you're going to make it. We're convinced the two of us are going to end up at the end of the day debating. And we think a year from now, it's going to really be DeSantis against Newsom. So there's an element of arrogance to it. There's an element of...
Makes sense.
There's an element of undermining two people. Newsom undermining Biden and DeSantis undermining Trump. So if you do that, if you're part of Trump's campaign, there's a lot of different things you can do. You can come out and you can say, well, you know, look at this guy. He's desperate. You know, he desperately needs to do this because he just fired a third of his camp and they're running out of the fundraiser. So they need to be doing this. They have to re-strategize their marketing. This is one of their ways to get in front of that. Okay, great. Fantastic. So that can be one argument. Now, let's go to the actual debate. Rob, put a poll. I'm curious if we can run a poll. Who do you think will win the debate? The actual debate. Newsom or DeSantis? I'm actually curious what our audience will say on who will win the debate. Newsom, DeSantis. Not policies, but on TV, who will win the debate between the two? Policies is one of the areas, but who will win the debate? For you guys here, for all of us that are here, who do you think? Maybe I'm not going to come to you because I think, you know, you're in it. Tom, Graham, Adam, who do you think is going to win the debate between the two?
Oh, I was writing something down because that way I made a prediction before I saw the poll. But I think
65-35, Newsom, DeSantis.
Yeah, I think.
Graham, where are you at?
I think Newsom. But Newsom's also had a lot more experience. He's a great speaker. So my vote's probably Newsom.
I think with the exception of GDP in California, because you could always be like, we're
fifth, fourth.
What is it, fourth in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I mean, that could always be the gold standard. You're not even close, Florida. But if you want to compare resumes over the last couple of years of who's done better, as far as people coming into your state, people leaving your state, policies, COVID, lockdown, DeSantis has more to run on, and what is what I think.
That's a good quant, but lay it out for who do you think wins the debate, the way debates are evaluated by consumers and voters and things like that.
I think they're, with all due respect, neither are stellar human communicators like that. I mean, I think Gavin Newsom is as fake of a politician as it gets. We sat with DeSantis, policy wonk, respect. He knows his policy thing. I'd like to see how he does.
It's a lot of words, Adam. We're looking for numbers here. Put it out.
Here's what I would say. All DeSantis has to do is talk about a few different points. First time since 1851, you've lost people. California. Number 2, you need the borders to be open to show that your population increased. So the only way California can show that its population increase is by getting the borders to be open, because the people that are coming up the borders, they're going to be voting Democrats. Most 65% of Hispanics vote Democrat. And
this is the best reason why I would not want you to be debating a person that's not running for the same candidate, because when you hit them with these points right here, when you do this back and forth right here, it's not going to hit as hard as it should as you going against a person. One thing nobody's going to say that just hit my mind, it just really hit me up here about this, about them two debating. You're also getting Joe Biden ready and tape on what to get ready to debate on when he debates somebody, whoever he goes against. You're giving him talking points, because right now he probably ain't got good talking points to go off of. So you need, y'all see what I'm saying? I don't think y'all do. If you do, whatever, I hope you do. I hope you do. But what is really believing to happen is you giving tape for Joe Biden to help him debate against Republicans. Or if any Democrat feel like they're going to come out the blue and feel like they want to debate against Joe Biden. That's one thing I feel like they are setting up.
It's even higher when it's lower level income people that are coming to a state like California. So that's going to be probably 75%. So, Newsom's going to say, we've had the net positive growth this year. And that data can be misleading. And DeSantis got to show the only way you have a net positive is because you left the borders open. Okay. So that's going to get the crowd responding. During COVID, no one handled it better than DeSantis did. What's Newsom going to say about DeSantis? The issue with Disney, how he's dealing with Disney, the woke ideology stuff, the books. He's going to say DeSantis is banning books, CRT, blacks, the stuff that Kamala Harris is doing. DeSantis has to defend the slavery stuff, saying there was some good that happened with black slaves. Newsom's going to go after him hardcore on that. If there's anything they have to role play is what that answer is going to be on it, because you can't just say, well, it did do so. You can't do that kind of stuff. It's going to hurt you. Then they're going to say this. Newsom's going to come out and he's going to say, well, listen, if you think Trump is right, DeSantis is further right than Trump is. So you definitely don't want somebody like DeSantis, because look what position he took with Roe v. Wade. Look what position he took with this. So it's going to be a mess. DeSantis is going to go out there and say, look, in my entire year, I've been living in Florida for 45 years. I've never seen so many license plates that are saying state of California on it, right? He's going to say that. So debate skills, Newsom's got it. Marketability and getting eyeballs, Newsom's got it. Resume, it ain't even close who's got it. DeSantis got the resume. But we're learning in this election that resume matters. You need slightly more than resume.
You need more than
I'll give you the final thoughts on that before we finish it up. And as well as yourself, if the audience is listening to you right now saying, look, Suarez, I know where you're at. I know what you're doing. Yeah, you're doing a great job as a mayor. Maybe it's good you run next as a governor, but president, I'm not sure I'm ready for you yet. So if you got thoughts on DeSantis, Newsom, give that. And then final thoughts we'll go to before we finish up.
Yeah, I'll just say that on that issue, I would just say that, like you said, it's more than policy. You have to be able to be inspiring. You have to be able to connect with people. You have to have the right personality. And, you could, I don't think people thought of Trump as a policy wonk, right? I wouldn't say that's the way he's characterized. So, I think politics is the art of the possible. And I think for me, I would say, look at our record. Look at the success we've had. Look at the qualities that I have as a person in terms of being able to bring people together, in terms of being able to solve big problems. We live in a Washingtonized partisan world where everybody wants to just blame the other person. And that's their solution, right? Call a press conference, blame the other side. And I don't have the luxury of doing that. Hurricanes are not Republican or Democrat. You got to deal with them. Picking up the garbage is not Republican or Democrat. You got to do it.
Yep.
Right. And so I think I'm a doer. And as president, it's time for us to have someone who's different, who looks and sounds different, a Hispanic, be the first time ever. Also a mayor, be the first time ever, someone who's a problem solver. And I think that with my record, I've shown that I can bring people together and get
His voice is not strong enough. When you gotta be able to rock that crowd. Say it loud. I gotta rock that crowd. You know, you gotta be able to rock a crowd, bro. Like, you gotta be able to move some people, you know, and get some people like, okay, like he talking about something, you know what I'm saying? It's one of these things I was digging.
Ellis Braden only played 2 years of
Yo. Yeah. I want to hear this. Hey, y'all, I got to hear this, y'all. Fuck this.
Kyle Rittenhouse and Jason Aldean are not playing with Whoopi Goldberg. They got her all over the place. Lawsuits on the way. Check this out.
So short. Okay. So country singer Jason Aldean is getting backlash for the video of his song Not in a Small Town, which critics are saying is racist. Got lyrics, racist lyrics, and images. I said something that I feel a responsibility for not leaving unexamined because my words upset so many people, which was never my intention.
It appears Whoopi Goldberg has gotten herself into another controversy, and this time it seems like she might get sued for a lot of money, and she might end up losing everything she worked so hard for. Let's get into how Whoopi got herself into this panicky situation. So recently, country singer Jason Aldean has been making headlines amidst his Try This in a Small Town song controversy, and this news got onto The View where Goldberg and her fellow hosts slammed him.
So country singer Jason Aldean is getting backlash for the video of his song Not in a Small Town.
Whoopi claimed that the message the song was trying to put forward was questionable. She said on The View, "You just have to realize that when you make it about Black Lives Matter, people kind of say, well, are you talking about Black people? What are you talking about here?" Her other co-hosts, Joy Behar and Sunny Hostin, relentlessly slammed the song and called it deplorable and annoying. And this got a lot of backlash from fans.
Jason Aldean files defamation suit against Whoopi Goldberg and The View. I am no racist is what Jason Aldean had to say to that situation.
After the show, a news outlet reported that Jason plans to sue Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, and Joy Behar from The View after being called racist in the show. News publication, the Dunning-Kruger Times, published an article titled, "Jason Aldean Files Defamation Suit Against Whoopi and The View. I'm no racist." The article claimed that Aldean has filed a $40 million lawsuit as he took advice of counsel, and that Jason Aldean's attorney, Joe Barron.
What? Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Love that. I actually really love that song. Listen, man, you got to pay the price. You got to pay the price. Hello, Kyle Rittenhouse and Jason Aldean coming.
Said that Whoopi needs to pay for her little stunt. If this turns out to be true,
we done covered this story so many times, and it's funny, like every time I cover it, I seem to go find a different person that's loving the song, that's not finding nothing racist. Where are the people that where are the fellas? Where are these real people where y'all be finding these people that be finding stuff sublimically racist and the white man? Well, I know where one. I got one. I know where one at. I got one guy, I feel like he just got off the plantation and just came, and he probably been working at the job longer than me or whatever. I'm not gonna lie to you. But y'all, we had a little discussion, I promise you. It was just like hey, I almost had tears in my eyes. I looked at him like I thought he had shackles on his feet. I promise you, I was like, this man is in bad shape, bro. Like this can't be going down like this. we got to get this together. We got to put some things together. We got to do it right. I hope that we all find a way to come together and fix what we got to fix and do the right thing. If something racist is racist, call it out. But if it ain't racist, we need to shoo away from that and get on a better future that we already heading down. Just want to put that out there.
Whoopi would have to pay a whopping $40 million. And since all evidence against her is recorded online, she might end up having to lose a huge sum of money. And this isn't the first time she has been threatened with a lawsuit since several years back. Kyle Rittenhouse, a teen acquitted after shooting and mortally wounding 2 men while injuring another during an anti-racism protest in Kenosha, Wisconsin, had announced that he plans to sue Whoopi Goldberg. Appearing on Fox News Channel's Tucker Carlson tonight, the Illinois teen, whose incident happened during protests over the police shooting of Jacob Blake, said that he and his team had launched the Media Accountability Project to fundraise money in order to take both media companies and individuals like Whoopi to court for the lies they said about him. BET previously reported about Rittenhouse's acquittal, where he was found not guilty on all charges in the shootings that took the lives of 2 men and injured a third in Kenosha. He said, "Right now we're looking at quite a few politicians, celebrities, athletes. Whoopi Goldberg's on the list. She called me a murderer after I was acquitted by a jury of my peers. She went on to still say that, and there are others." In case you missed it, back in 2020, Goldberg, who is a co-host of ABC's The View, had said of Rittenhouse, "Even all the excuses in the world does not change the fact that 3 people got shot. 2 people were murdered. To me, it's murder." I'm sorry. Whoopi's controversies have even made her suspended from ABC's The View after she made comments that the Holocaust was not about race. News of her suspension came from ABC News president Kim Godwin. "Effective immediately, I am suspending Whoopi Goldberg for her wrong and hurtful comments," Godwin wrote in a statement that was later posted on Twitter. "While Whoopi has apologized, I've asked her to take time to reflect and learn about the impact of her comments." Meghan McCain also spoke out about her former The View colleague and issued her own Twitter statement. "I hate commenting on my old employer because I have moved in every way a person can move on," McCain wrote. "That being said, I am an activist against anti-Semitism, and it is a big part of my life," adding, "The growing threat is real and virulent and everywhere. I am heartbroken about what was said." She has experienced the cancel culture before, and it almost ruined Whoopi Goldberg's career. So it is not surprising that the Sister Act star hardly hides her disdain for it. The embattled star opened up about her experience with the social phenomenon in 2021 at the Edinburgh TV Festival, where she slammed cancel culture, claiming that the truth didn't seem to matter as much these days. Not only has Whoopi almost been canceled, but she also narrowly escaped an untimely retirement due to cancel culture. In an interview with Drew Barrymore, Goldberg discussed her being canceled for making fun of the president at a fundraising event, and she even recounted her losses in that period, including exhausting her savings. "Listen, I got very, very lucky because I got into some trouble where I pissed off a politician and then I lost everything, really," she said. Fortunately, the late broadcast journalist Barbara Walters gave her a chance at redemption when she offered her a job on The View, where she continues with her controversial statements. Whoopi Goldberg's alleged disparaging remarks about George Bush cost her more than she bargained for. What was meant to be an innocent pun caused Whoopi to lose a lucrative endorsement gig when weight loss brand Slim Fast trimmed her from its ads. The brand dropped her amid the backlash and threats of boycott, and she had to apologize to its customers. Whoopi went on to acknowledge the dismissal while expressing her disappointment about being fired based on hearsay. In July 2015, she defended Bill Cosby amid multiple accusations of sexual assault against him, declaring the disgraced comedian innocent until proven guilty.
Well, first of all, that's funny. First of all, Whoopi Goldberg, how is she still on the air after all of this? Like, I'm in shock. I can't even talk because I don't even know. Like, this is wild. Like, you constantly keep disrespecting people and disrespecting artists, politicians, history. I gotta say, man, how is she still on the air? I have no idea.
In 2018, The Cosby Show.
Hey, I'm just gonna let you know, partner, because she tied in politically. When you can move a certain amount of people, influence, when you're influenced by a certain amount of people and you moving them the right direction, it's gonna be hard to cancel you. Come on now. Only people that get canceled is people that disagree with what the world don't want them to go. That's why a lot of people, instead of disagreeing, they want to say they just rather for the world just to end. Come on, God, just take the world, end it. I know times got hard for me and I got down on myself, and I feel bad about things that I have put myself through. But I wish not to end the world just so people don't get a chance to grow up and make decisions and try to make this world a better place. I think about things like that. Settling little mindsets and things like that. It hurts to be where I'm at because I'm not where I want to be, and there are a lot of things that have been taken away that I'm fighting back to get. But I want the best in everything that we do, and I want to try to show that these things that are in front of us are nothing but wrong and evilness and bad, and we need things to be a little bit better for this here in our country. You know, people may disagree with me. I understand. You have the right to disagree, but we have to fight for the things that we truly need in this country. Okay? If you can't fight, I'm going to fight for you. Sit back, put your feet up, work, run your business. Let me be the fight. Let me be the voice. Let me talk. I mean, it's not just me. It's a lot of people out there that's out there speaking the same, getting the views and speaking. So it's a good thing to finally see a lot of people out there who made a name for themselves and made a brand and out there and trying to do it. I appreciate it because at first I didn't think we was going to get able to do it. But for everybody out there that's in this podcast world, that's doing this, that's doing good, that's actually saying the right things, you know, we need to make sure our vote is right. We need to make sure that we're voting for the right things every year. Not just every 4 years, not just every 2 years. We got to start taking the small steps, the baby steps, the steps that we're not thinking about. For real, we got to think about that. We got to start doing that. We got to start making that. We got to start doing those. If you think that not, then I'm sad, mistaken. We're in a hole. Okay. Let's get it together. Let's do it, y'all. All right. I ain't gonna hold y'all. I love being on this podcast. I couldn't wait to get back on here and do a show. Had to find the right time and make sure everything was right and perfect for you guys. Until next time, love you guys. Peace. If I can find it.